Welcome to Monthly Review, a monthly feature that is basically another excuse for me to talk about male seiyuu music and 2D groups. This month was all about revisiting the 90s and having a good time with character development. So let's check these awesome CDs. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Monthly Review. This time around, we're talking about May 2022 releases. May was a rather, I would say, simple, quiet month without any big players coming to the spotlight. However, there were some surprises, so let's talk about those. Best of May 2022. So this month, there were a couple of CDs that I was really keen on listening to and checking. Some I didn't have the time to check, which is unfortunate, basically it's Hound Roar. I didn't have any time to check Petal. I will be checking it in a couple of days, but I didn't have any time to check it before recording this episode. The big players, and well, let's start with one that you may be really eager to talk about. It's IDOLiSH7's Mallow Blue. Coming off a perfect, almost perfect second full-length album with Opus, IDOLiSH7 had a couple of things to sort out for their upcoming single. And in Mallow Blue, you do have that maturity and growth standing out. I wouldn't say it is better than Opus, because it isn't, but there are, or at least there is one song that would have belonged to that album, and it is the title track. This is a song all about warm, caring feelings, and I do like when idol groups do that, although that's pretty much what every single 2D idol group does to please their fans, but this time around the touch or the twist they gave to that type of song is slightly different from expected. Usually 2D music projects do that cheesy thing of either doing fan service or going the generic route, but the song is really neat in its production, in its mixing, and even in its performance. So there's something really different there in terms of production and the delivery of the song. I do love it a whole lot. As soon as it started playing, it was a song that connected with me, and I'm not that type of person to enjoy pop music that much, so it is a really good sign. I may be a bit biased towards IDOLiSH7 at times, depending on the music genre they are tackling. In this case, this is pop music, so there is no bias at all, because I'm not a fan of pop music to begin with, and this song still connected with me. It is a beautiful song that I believe everyone should check. I'm not a big fan of the B-side track. I know some of you will be all about it and will enjoy it a whole lot. It is a bit like Natsushiose, but not really Natsushiose, and a mix with Rivales Re-Raise. It is playful, it is fun, it has a little bit of rock, pop, ska, I should say even some hints of 90s pop, although I believe some of the elements weren't fully used or used to their potential and ended up just as accents, clogging the instrumental. The performance wasn't really that remarkable, but once again, like I mentioned in the review that is already on the website, this is a song that will work pretty well on a live setting, and I'm really eager to see this song being performed live, because just like Natsushiose, I believe it will work pretty well live. I'm not a big fan of Natsushiose, it's quite possibly one of the songs that I really dislike in the IDOLiSH7 franchise, but if it is being performed live, I do end up enjoying listening and watching the performance. So I do like that duality about the song not working that much or not clicking at all with me on a CD, but then when it comes to the live performance, I actually end up liking it. So there's that potential too, because now I'm pretty curious to see how it ends up faring on a live setting. But that's all I have to say about IDOLiSH7's Mallow Blue. Good single, but if you compare it to Oppa's, it's a bit of a downgrade. Next one up, it's Reodo's or LUMIÈRE with Pole Position. And this is the kickoff of Dear Vocalist's 7th CD season, Unlimited. And this is a season that is quite important to all bands, because not only now you have the focus on the vocalist, but you also have on the band. And the band comes into play with, I should say, a sound that is more connected to the original that each vocalist had. So this time around you have Pole Position, song that has that original punk pop sound that Reodo had back in his debut days. And as a tie-up, the B-side track Henyoku is all about showcasing that maturity, that growth that Reodo went through in these 7 years. And this results in a unique dynamic between a punk pop song and a jazzy tune with a mature vibe. This works pretty well. I'm not only a big fan of Ron, who is the composer for all songs within this franchise, but I'm enjoying a whole lot the growth that Toshiki Masuda has been going through as a singer, and he brought that into this performance. He wasn't not only performing with a lot of energy, but he was pretty consistent. I dare say insanely consistent throughout. There are no peaks and valleys in his performance. He's rock solid throughout, which is pretty rare for him as Reodo up until now. And then he brings as well a breathy style of singing for Henyoku, and that was really the cherry on top of the cake for that song. It was already mature, it was already pretty elegant, and he had that final touch that made the song shine. In my opinion, that's the best song in the album. Of course, longtime fans of Reodo's sound will love to find Pole Position with that original punk pop sound that they fell in love with. And that's really one of the things that I was worried about, because Reodo usually kicks off the CDs and for each season in the Dear Vocalist franchise, and sometimes it doesn't kick the seasons that well. This time around there is a lot of power, there is a lot of consistency and emotion. I'm pretty curious to see if that comes across for all vocalists or if it is just specific to Reodo due to the story that is tied to that CD. So if you have the time, please do check it, because Reodo's Pole Position is one of the standout releases in this month. Now, the biggest release of the month, it is Shunichi Toki's Good For. Now, this is a fantastic CD. I'm a sucker for jazz music, I'm a sucker for 90s pop music with that hip-hop style on top and some hints and beats of R&B, and Shunichi Toki really nailed everything. Actually, his composition team and lyricists as well did actually fully capture that vibe, and I felt like I was back in the 90s listening to those tunes and having a great time. I found that CD to be bloody awesome and really consistent throughout. From start to finish, it was groovy, insanely punchy. If you are a big fan of bass lines, then this CD will deliver more and more. It is insane how much of that quality on the bass line, really punchy, really on the slap, and it is so pleasing to hear. It makes it so that this album is insanely bouncy, and you'll find yourself jamming along to the songs, either dancing, shuffling like I do with my, well, it's a mix of headbanging with shoulder shuffling, not that pretty to see, but you can have that enjoyment with this CD. It is a fun CD, not cheesy, but really fun. And that's something that was missing in Shunichi Toki's CDs. There was a care for revisiting older sounds with the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and this time around there is also the 70s, 80s, and 90s, at least some it's and bits of 60s, but not necessarily. The sound is not necessarily from the 60s. You have a lot of 80s and 90s influencing this CD, and you can hear that in those funky tunes, the jazzier songs, the acoustic twist that was given to all songs in this CD, as well as city pop that got to shine in this album. The best song is Original Scenery, and I've said it in the review, although, well, the review may already be on the website. I would welcome you to check it. By the time this episode is dropped, I believe the review will be on the website, so do check it for my impressions on Original Scenery and of course all other songs, but that song is the 90s. There's nothing else in there beyond the 90s, and that is bloody awesome because I was born in the early 90s and that was the sound that I listened to for a whole long time, and it felt nostalgic, and it was so good to go back to that time and just have fun. It was simple, it was straight to the point, it was insanely addictive in its presentation. I found myself listening to that song on repeat instead of continuing to review the CD. So that attests to the quality. When one song makes me hit that loop or replay button while I still have a whole lot of the CD to review, that's the sign that I found the best song in that CD. And for me it's Original Scenery. I don't know about you, but do leave in the comments which was the song that you loved the most in that CD, because it is a highlight reel. It is really quality from start to finish and a good candidate to best album of the year, although we need to be realistic, and there's also Soma Saito's My Beautiful Valentine in there, which is an even stronger candidate for album of the year. But as far as it goes, Shunichi Toki really left a massive and awesome mark with Good 4, and I'm quite excited to see what he can pull off next. And that's all from my suggestions, or the CDs that stood out for me in May 2022. Let's check your opinions. Now, to check your opinions, let's see. So we have a comment by Gracia. Hello again. And Gracia says, as a huge Dear Vocalist fan, I have to recommend LUMIÈRE's Pole Position. It's the first CD of the 7th season, and as always, Dear Vocalist never disappoints. I have to agree with you in there. I still have to be disappointed by Dear Vocalist, and I hope it never happens. I like to recommend LUMIÈRE songs because I think they are the most friendly songs to start if you're not familiar with rock music or Dear Vocalist's music. Plus, Masuda Toshiki's performance as Ryodo is one of my favorites of him. I would say I love this performance in the Raving Beats CD, but I do agree with you, as far as singles go, these two songs are the best performances he has delivered, at least consistency wise. I did love a whole lot Champion, and 910 was also a song that I loved a whole lot, but this CD was pretty strong. I also agree with you in the sense that Ryodo's music is the most accessible for newcomers. It is. Punk pop is usually a pretty accessible style of music. It's not too aggressive, but it has a whole lot of energy, and it's not necessarily rock, it has a pop edge in the lyrics, making the songs pretty addictive. And at the same time, Toshiki Masuda has been a pretty awesome singer. He's grown a whole lot, and his performances are showing that growth, although he still insists that he hasn't grown a whole lot. So, but I believe this is one of the standout CDs and a fantastic kickoff to a series that I hope will be better than any other up until now. I've said it before, I've got Kagaribi's CD pre-ordered as a physical edition, so I'm looking forward to the drama CD. This time around I didn't check the drama CD for Reodo or LUMIÈRE, so I do not know what happens there, but given how the sound is gentle and yet still energetic, I feel like there are some good developments there between you, the listener, and Reodo. So thank you very much for your suggestion, Gracia, and so glad you enjoyed this CD, and I hope you are looking forward to all other entries in the Dear Vocalist franchise, especially in this unlimited CD series. And to wrap up, we have a comment by Sora. Sora says, while it has not released yet, the comment was sent a couple of days before the CD was actually released, I'm super excited about IDOLiSH7's Mallow Blue. I played the game, so I've already heard the short version and I'm in love with it. Funny fact, I was playing the game and the intro of the song started playing and I had to completely turn off the sound, so I had to play that section of the game completely mute. Which is frustrating, but since I have that rule of not listening to previews before actually reviewing the songs, I found it to be a bit frustrating on my side to have to play that part of the game without music. And of course all other chapters in which there are previews of Survivor by Zul, Suicide by Trigger, and I believe it hasn't premiered, or it may already have premiered Rivale's song as well, but I haven't reached that part in the story. Back to your comment. I like the dramatic melody and instrumentals and can't wait to hear the full version and bridge. This song is really beautiful, Sora. Really, really beautiful. And I hope you have already listened to it, because this is a really beautiful song. I rank it pretty high within IDOLiSH7 songs, and that's saying a whole lot because IDOLiSH7 do have a lot of good songs. Some of you may already be aware that they have that bubbly sound, but not necessarily all songs are bubbly. This time around this song was more on a gentle note, more caring towards the listener, which is not necessarily rare, but not something that IDOLiSH7 does a whole lot or frequently. So Mallow Blue is really a good song. Like I said earlier, I'm not a big fan of the B-side track. It is still enjoyable, but Mallow Blue takes the cake as the best song in that single, and quite possibly one of the best songs released by IDOLiSH7 so far. Thank you very much for your comment, Sora. And that's all for your comments on which were the best CDs released in 2022. Thank you very much for your participation. Now it's time for monthly choice, which is to say that section in which I recommend 3 CDs for you to check. Usually things that I've been listening to a whole lot and that I believe deserve more love or a second chance. And I'm actually reading my list because I'm not the type of person to memorize everything. And the first suggestion is Kiduku Issa with Ruby Cross Diamond, Just Another Day. This is a song that is actually a duet, and this has Yukitoshi Kikuchi and Masahiro Yamanaka in the same song, and what you get in this song is quite possibly one of the best performances in the VSROCK franchise. It is a dark song with an unexpected light in there. So I find this song to be quite interesting. It has a mix of rock, pop and hip-hop, being that the hip-hop sections are quite interesting, rare. Actually, it is the very first time that hip-hop makes its way to the VSROCK franchise, and it is bloody awesome. I was not expecting Yamanaka to be that good and have that awesome of a flow, and Yukitoshi Kikuchi really surprised me with how he makes his unique singing tone shine in a song that isn't that easy for him to tackle. So I do recommend you to check this song if you like dark, down-tempo songs that have a perfect mix between pop, rock, and hip-hop. It really is a song that is mainly trap, but with a whole lot of rock in there. So do check it if you can. My second suggestion is Kashikomi with Fire with Fire. The title track is one of the jazziest and coolest songs I've heard. This is one that has been on replay on my side, and I really love the whole dynamic between Shonogami and Shoyachiba, and you have that and more in this song. It's really awesome, fantastic harmonies. Both are tenors with an insane skill set, and although Shoyachiba has yet to showcase his full vocal range, Shonogami is a master at tackling both high and low sections, and he does it really smoothly in this song. So I do recommend you to check these. Fight Fire with Fire by Kashikomi if you enjoy a good jazzy tune with a really good bounce to it. And to wrap up, I've been listening to IDOLiSH's Peach Ichi Rei ni Go. And this title is not really the easiest to say, it's not the most logical, but this song is pure chaotic mess, and I love it, really. This is one of those songs in which I love how Ron came up with the concept and the sound, and then Ryohei Kimura really goes out there and delivers a performance that is as crazy, as lunatic, as mind-blowing as it is. This is a song that is almost made for a rave, so if you do not enjoy EDM music, you may not enjoy this song, so be aware of that. But this is a fantastic song to check. It is already available on Spotify, so you can check it. It was released with the Raving Beat CD by A-, which is to say NSFW, the name of his band. And that's all for my suggestions of CDs for you to check. Now let's check the CDs that you suggested for this month, and we have one suggestion, and it is by Gracia. Full Throttle 4's album FD4. I'm not familiar with Honeyworks universe, but Yumo Uchida and Saito Soma are a pair I like to see working together, so when they were announced to be together in a unit, I got very excited. Same. Both of them have angels' voices, and most of the songs make a good use of it, although I really enjoy those few cases when Yumo Uchida goes lower than usual and makes a good complement with Soma Saito's voice. FT4 songs are very enjoyable, and before I noticed, most of the songs in the album were in my music library. This is a CD that I've yet to check. I said it before that I wouldn't be checking it, but I feel really tempted to do it, because like Gracia said, I'm a big fan of both, and as soon as I heard both were in a unit together and they were the only singers within that group, although I do know that some songs within that CD have vocals by Toshiki Masuda as well as Tetsuya Kakihara, but the brunt of the CD is all about Yumo Uchida and Soma Saito. Like yourself, I am not familiar with Honeyworks and its universe, so I do know that it comes from an Utaite or Vocaloid kind of series, and the songs are being re-recorded by voice actors as of now. But beyond that, I do not know anything about Honeyworks, and the more I research about it, the less it makes sense to me. So if anyone can actually help out and let me know what is Honeyworks about and why FT4 are there, or even Lip Lip, do let me know how those groups came to be, because I really have yet to understand that dynamic. As far as the album goes, I have broken that rule of not checking music, because originally I wasn't going to review this CD. I feel tempted, that's why I said that I broke that rule. I've checked one of those performances and I found the dynamic between Yumo Uchida and Soma Saito to be extremely awesome. It is one of those things that I said last year that I would love to see both collabing as solo artists, that hasn't happened so far, but as voice actors performing within the same group, that has happened with this CD. FT4 has that, and I believe many people were actually pretty excited about it. The CD actually sold pretty well in Japan, and international fans are loving every minute of it. Seeing your suggestion, seeing your impressions, and noticing how you actually came to enjoy the CD a whole lot, I feel even more tempted to check it. I'm not going to promise anything because I do have a schedule that is not really favorable for me to actually review music as of now, but I may find some time to actually dive into that CD at least before the end of the year. I'm not going to promise anything soon because CDs take a whole long time to review. Thank you very much for your comment, Gracia. And that's all for your suggestions of CDs that everyone should check. This episode is sponsored by all the Hand That Feeds HQ's patrons on Patreon. A big thank you for the support. Now it's time for Music in the Horizon, which is to say that time we look forward to next month's releases. And next month we're talking about June 2022. It is a big month. It is one that is going to rival February 2022, although the quality of the music may be a bit lower this month than it was in February. So we're going to have Sir Vanity Ray. Although initially I reported on the website that the CD was going to drop in May, then Vanity Records actually corrected that and the CD was pushed to June for release. And I'm looking forward to that CD specifically because of those remixes to already released songs. I'm curious to see what they can pull off there. And when we talk about remixes, is it going to be EDM songs out of the originals, or are we going to get new arrangements? I'm curious about that because I do love when the remixes are actually rearrangements, not necessarily EDM twists to original songs. So let's see what they can pull off. Then we have Makoto Furukawa with Ibara Rimbu Kyoku. And this is a CD that I know that many of you are actually looking for, and this is one that I'm actually pretty excited about it. This one won't miss a review next month. The others will be a matter of me finding some free time, but this one won't miss my review schedule. I'm a big fan of Makoto Furukawa and I love his jazz sound, although he's now diving a bit more into acid jazz. And I love, but really love, Makoto Furukawa's voice. His deep baritone vocals that can go really smoothly to bass range are something that I love a whole lot. His technique has improved a lot in the last couple of years. He was already a good singer to begin with, but now he has a whole lot of control and is more comfortable as a performer. So I'm looking forward to Ibara Rimbu Kyoku. I've talked about it plenty of times before. I know some of you are actually pretty excited about it, and I look forward to listening to your impressions next month. Then we have Trigger with Suicide. I'm a massive fan of Trigger, so of course I'm looking forward to it, and I am curious to see where Trigger are taking their sound, given that some things have happened within the game. For those of you that are fans of Trigger but are actually not playing the game, because the game is in Japanese, not in English, and you may not feel comfortable playing it in Japanese, Trigger have went through a really bad time and they are now recovering and getting back to their feet, and Suicide appears in a really interesting way and time for the group. So I'm curious to see if the group has mellowed out or if the group is as sexy and aggressive as they were for Variant. Then we have Zul with Survivor. I'm not the biggest fan of Einsatz, the very first album by the group, so I'm looking forward to see what Zul can now pull off with a sound that is, for story reasons, a bit different. So I'm looking forward to see what comes out of this single and see if the dynamic between the four members is still the same or if something has changed. Then we have Hypnosis Mic with Cross a Line. There are plenty of new songs in there, I'm looking forward to those. But that CD is mostly a compilation or a best-of album, so there's not much that I'm looking forward to within that CD, more than actually collecting the songs now all in the same place. Then we have Joshua with LUMIÈRE. This is the second CD in the Dear Vocalist franchise in this unlimited CD series, so I'm looking forward to it. Joshua usually has ballads, so I'm looking forward to see what Shimazaki or actually can pull off in there in his performances. And then we have Ready Project as well, making a comeback. Looking forward to that, although that will be a really difficult CD to get, and I may even not get it at all due to how difficult right now it is to acquire music by this franchise. And that's all about the CDs that I'm looking forward to. Since those were really a whole lot of CDs, I tried to keep it a bit shorter in my impressions. Now let's check your CDs or the CDs that you are looking forward to in June 2022. And we have a comment here, once again by Gracia, thank you very much. Gracia looks forward to High Superb's second album, Changing. Now this is a group that I do not follow, although I report the news about them on the website. They have a mixed lineup that has mostly stage actors, but one of those stage actors actually has credits as a voice actor, and they are known for having a really, I would say, a traditional J-pop sound. When I say traditional, it's not necessarily an old sound, but a trademark or a textbook J-pop sound. They look and sound like a J-pop group. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Although they are, of course, stage actors, so you do have that unique edge in there. Continuing the comment, this is a group I've been following since their beginning, and after not releasing music for some time, they came back with a more mature sound, even if it's still under the category of bubbly pop, which is another reason why I do not follow this group a whole lot, or basically, I do not follow them. Their latest singles have been really good, so I can't wait to hear what they're going to do in this new album, including the solo and duet tracks. I believe the solo tracks are a first for the group. I do not know about the duet tracks being a first for them. Still, it is quite interesting to see that this group continues to be active. Usually groups that are formed by stage actors do not last long, so it is pretty interesting to find that High Superb, even with the graduations that have happened in the past, are still around and kicking. And of course I do hope you enjoyed that album a whole lot. I won't be reviewing it because once again it is bubbly pop music. I'm not a big fan of that style of music, but I do believe that you are going to enjoy it a whole lot. Thankfully, High Superb's music is available on Spotify and I believe all other streaming platforms worldwide, so if you like Gracia, enjoy High Superb's music, do look forward to Changing. Thank you very much for your comment. To wrap up, we have the Ask Vanessa corner, and this time around we do not have any questions. So what am I going to do? I haven't thought about it, so I think I'm going to freestyle this section and talk about something that I'm looking forward to, yet I do not know anything about. If you are familiar with my favorite artists among male seiyuu, you will know that I'm a big fan of Soma Saito. And what is going on? He has announced that a special event to celebrate his 5th anniversary as a solo artist that is going to take place in June 11 if I'm not wrong, and is going to have a talk event and a mini live event. It's going to be live streamed to some countries worldwide, not all, and once again Portugal, where I live, is not one of those countries that are considered international, so I'm not going to watch that event. So why am I bringing these to this talk, seeing as there are no questions? I'm curious to see if anything is going to be announced within that live or that event, because up until now Saito hasn't actually celebrated any of his birthdays as a solo artist with an event. He had never celebrated an anniversary as a solo artist up until now, which leads me to think that he's going to announce something big there, unless he now decided that he wants to celebrate every birthday, and up until now he hadn't because he didn't have free time. I do not know, but I like to be this optimistic about it, about at least an announcement. Seeing as he said he's working on new music, seeing as he has hinted that he would like to be on stage again, I'm betting, and this can actually fall completely down the drain, I'm betting on him announcing a new live tour to take place in September, October, maybe, and maybe a release of an album within that time frame, or December, because December is that month in which he usually releases music. So I'm looking forward to that. I do not know if you guys are actually looking forward to that possibility of news being announced in that event. I'm not going to watch that event, so if you are going to watch it and you end up watching it, do leave your impressions in the comments. I would love to see, or at least read, what happened without major spoilers there, of course. But I'm really curious to see if he's going to announce something, because usually Saito has his communication really deliberate. When he says that something important is going to happen on that day, he's actually meaning it, so there's something important happening that day. Maybe he's going to perform some of the new songs, I believe so. At least Rhapsody Inferno is going to be performed there, and Genjitsu. I'm not expecting the other songs to be performed there because it's actually a celebration. It's not going to go all depressive within that celebration. But looking forward to it, and I hope at least it is a new tour and quite possibly music. Either way, I would be pretty happy. So seeing as there are no questions this month for me, and I didn't prepare anything because I wasn't expecting people to actually not having anything to ask, this was my freestyle corner. And well, if you guys do not have any questions for me, it ends up turning into the corner in which I talk about the seiyuu that I love the most. I have that power, at least. Thank you very much to everyone for watching this episode. Thank you to everyone that has participated, and all of you that actually wanted to participate and didn't get to participate. You can always participate in next month's survey. You can actually pitch in the CDs that were released this month as suggestions of music to check, so do not worry if you missed this month, you can participate next month. Feel free to comment, feel free to participate, and once again I hope you enjoyed the music this month and are looking forward to what awaits us all in June. That is trying or starting to look like a fantastic month. That's all from me, and I'll see you guys soon.